Hi everyone, it's Brenda Brandenburg coming to you for Downtown Now, the Arkansas Herald. We're in front of the historic Medical Arts Building, and we have an open house today happening from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So we're going to go in and be able to tour the lobby of this building, which for many years was the tallest building on this side of the Mississippi. So it's a very historic building and has been vacant for quite some time. So let's go in and see what we can see. What we have here is we have the downtown icons listed, and we've got instructions to place a check mark next to each building, site, or use according to the level of importance that you believe each represents to the identity of downtown. And as you can see, this one right here is the former Majestic Hotel site, which we know has been very publicized in the news and everything since the fire of February of 14. But look at the number of people who've written different things about what the priority is. The next one down here is the Pancake Shop, and then the Malco Theater, which right now is vacant. And then the last one down here is the Convention Center, which is really important to all of our events downtown. But you can see such a concentrated effort up there at the Majestic Hotel. And of course, we all want something done with that rubble that's hanging out. Then down here we've also got Bathhouse Row, which is very high importance. And then this building, the Medical Arts. Then the School for Math and Science and the Arts, which is the old St. Joseph's Hospital. And Transportation Depot, which was also the Sawmill Restaurant years ago. And the Farmers Market, which has been doing a lot of neat things. We've had movies out at the market. We've had truck vendors on Fridays. And so we've had a lot of new things going on there. And then the last one listed here, of course, is the Arlington Hotel. And it's obviously quite an icon to Hot Springs as well. Many people stay here, and we know all the history about Al Capone and a lot of the gangsters and things. So we'll get to vote and see what happens. This is Brenda Brandenburg here, and I have got Cole McCaskill with me, who is Hot Springs Downtown Development Coordinator. I have your title right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I run into you everywhere downtown or in any event.
We are two people that you can find downtown most of the time. That's
pretty much. So tell me what you're doing down here today.
We are having a public open house for our multi-month-long downtown strategic planning process. So after the Majestic burn, which you're familiar with,
I'm very.
We went to the federal government and we said, we need some help. Like, what are we going to do? And they said, we'll give you a grant to put together a redevelopment plan. So we went through the process and hired a expert consulting firm, and they're now here with us for the course of about 4 months, and they're taking public input, and they're meeting with all sorts of focus groups and stakeholder groups, and we're all just going to sit down and sort of mesh everything that we learn into one big sort of community vetted plan.
Okay.
So the idea was that the Economic Development Administration didn't want to invest a bunch of public money into Hot Springs if there was a faction, a group out there that would have been opposed to that. So that's why they require us to go through this community vetting process.
Right.
So we're here at the beautiful Medical Arts Building, which
isn't it gorgeous?
The Taylor Kemke-Zunick group just purchased the first floor, and they were gracious enough to clean out this lobby and host us here, and it's been incredible. Isn't the lobby look good?
Oh, it's amazing.
Better than it has since the 80s.
Those are the original elevators that are in there.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
They were out here polishing the brass doors. I mean, they really went all out.
Yeah.
And we couldn't be more thankful to them for hosting that.
It's really cool. Well, I've heard a lot of questions in there. There were people asking you about who owns this building.
Yeah, lots of.
And evidently more than one person owns this building. There's a group of 3 guys that own the first building, or first floor, like you said. Mm-hmm. And then who owns the rest of the building?
To my understanding, that Marshall Kaufman owns the middle floors, and then a realtor from Fayetteville owns the top floor. And so when the property sold on the courthouse steps a number of years ago, I think they parceled it out in that sort of fashion, so people just picked up a floor for cheap.
Okay, all right. Do we have any idea what's going to happen above this first floor?
No. We actually, I introduced the owner of the top floor to one of the owners of the bottom floor today for the first time. And I think we're going to maybe work on a POA to at least sort of get on the same page.
That'd
and then
be neat.
you got to take baby steps on these big sort of multi-owner projects.
This place has been vacant for how long, you think?
I think they closed it in the late 80s, mid to late 80s.
Lots of doctors in here.
It was full at the time that they closed it, from what I understand. Kirby Williams' office was in here.
Right.
Quite a few professional services. I know Vicki at West Central said she was working in here. Lots of doctors and dentists still at that time. I'm not really sure there's lots of stories that float around from the 80s. I'm not sure exactly what happened when they closed it. But
well, you hear one thing about this is that there's no parking to accommodate the people in this building.
Sure.
So I was looking at what you guys are doing. You're taking some input from the public, but you got it in a real organized manner. So, tell us kind of what they do when they come in here.
Well, so you come in, you sign in, and then you get your instructions from the person here at the front table, and then you get a series of stickers for votes. You can vote on the ideas that you like in here. So that's part of the community vetting process. And I haven't actually done it. I've been running around and sort of staff and helping them all day that I can. But I know that there's a whole wall back there dedicated to parking and sort of alternative parking ideas.
Yes.
So yes, this building would require a lot of additional parking if it were to be developed, and so that's definitely one of the things that we have charged them with solving for us is our so-called parking problem.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big supporter of downtown.
Absolutely.
And in my heart is this spot for the Majestic Hotel. And of course, no interview would be complete without me asking you a little bit about what's going on with the Majestic.
Sure.
I know there is a hearing coming up on next Wednesday, the 8th, I believe.
So what I know is the city's bringing a 400-something counts against them, which is the most they've ever brought. But boy, Do you think it'll happen? Fines.
Do you think it'll happen? The hearing. It's been put off several times.
I have no idea.
Well, okay. I just want you to know I will be there too. Will you be there?
I hope so.
Okay. All right. But we are really supporting all of this revitalization downtown. And
everybody is. We've had almost 200 people already, and the day's only halfway done.
I know. And you know what? If anything has come out of the fire at the Majestic, it's been this.
It's been incredible.
You were not in this position before.
This position didn't exist.
Exactly.
And that's one of the things that they identified. They said, we need somebody just pushing this thing forward every day.
And just to give the group that works so hard a little bit of kudos, that was the Downtown Game Plan Task Force.
That's right.
And this actually is all kind of a result of all that.
It all sort of spurred from the recommendations of that group.
Yeah, so I think that it's only fair that the citizens of Hot Springs and everybody that cares about this place knows that there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
And, we have to exercise some patience, but I think that this is such a great thing that you guys are doing today. I'm excited.
We're all doing it, not you guys. We're all doing it.
Everybody.
This is a community event.
Exactly. And I think that that's great. We're going to hear what our community wants.
Yep.
So thank you so much for interviewing with me today. I'm going to shake your hand.
Thank you, Brenda.
And let you go back into that hot. It's not air conditioned, but thank you so much. Well, I'm Brenda Brandenburg with Downtown Now, and we have run into Mayor Ruth Kearney down here at this neat event at the Medical Arts Building. So tell us what you're doing down here and what you think about this.
Well, I'm down here because we were all invited to be a part of our redevelopment and the ideas from citizens, and I came to share what I think.
And what do you think about what you've seen so far? Did you see all the votes on the wall and such?
Yes, I think it's kind of sad because we have a population of like 30-something thousand people, so we should have a whole lot more people giving us their thoughts and input.
Well, and that's been the problem, is it's just a small group sometimes that don't get an opportunity to come out, but they're here till 8 o'clock tonight, so hopefully we'll have a little bit more people with input.
Yeah, I think maybe a lot of people weren't informed, and that's why they're not here. So I sent out emails, and we sent out, things on Facebook. So hopefully more people will come.
Well, and this gives us an opportunity to really exercise our right as citizens to see what we really want in downtown Hot Springs. And I think, you're the voice of this city. So when you take this to agenda or whatever and vote on it, it's going to be a really important thing for us. Do you have any other plans, or do you know of any other plans of things like this that are going to happen downtown?
Well, I know we're constantly doing planning and development. That never stops. It's an everyday thing. We have a whole department that works on it constantly. I did a whole drive around yesterday with the planning and development department heads, and we see areas that are in dire need of help, not just downtown. We have a lot of poverty, we have a lot of needs, and it takes a lot of time. So it's not something that happens overnight, and it is something that has to have a lot of money and a lot of backup and investment. So when we talk about redevelopment, we're talking about where do we get the money? People say we're taxed enough already, so we need investors that have money. And so it's easy to dream big and make big plans, but it's hard to fund those dreams and find the right investors for the right properties.
Right, that's true. And that's the thing, it's really hard to lure investors into town if they don't see that they're going to have a return on their investment or whatever. So,
and a lot of we were just in a conference last week with retail, and the retail people will not come if our economy is low, which it is, and they will not come and risk their money and maybe go out of business because of low income, and not the volume of traffic that they need for the brand name stores. So we have that problem also.
That's true. Well, I took a little opportunity when I first got here to read some of the suggestions that are up there, and there's some really neat suggestions. One suggestion that I thought that I hadn't seen was the development of a tech center downtown, so that all of the downtown areas could share like the same wireless, so that, maybe the Arkansas School for Math and Science and the Arts, all that coming together. So I think that all the planning that's going on is really, really good, and there's some great suggestions that we hadn't seen.
Well, we've seen that. It's been something we've been working on for quite a while to get the fast internet in this area, and we have a problem with all of our area because there's some places that it doesn't even service the homes, the houses. So, we're trying to get it all over town plus downtown. So it's an effort that has been ongoing.
I want to take the opportunity to talk to you just a few minutes about the Majestic and what you thought about that. The Majestic has really, the fire that took place has really been like the catalyst, I think, in what we see in the development down here. I know things were going on behind the scenes, but it was almost like it just kind of shoved everybody into motion. And so we developed this thermal basin fire district code. What do you think about that?
That was developed before the fire.
Was it?
Yes,
okay.
It
and it was being
yes, it was
enacted?
Before the fire. That was in December, I think.
Okay.
And then the fire wasn't until February.
February. And do you support that? Do you think that that's a good thing? Or are you, how do you feel about that?
I think they've already realized that every property is different. They're owned by different people. They're owned by different economic levels, and they've had to be more individualized since they made, this is the way it's going to be. They've had to adjust because everybody has a different situation. And just like this building had several owners of one building, then you have other buildings that it's a restaurant and it's family owned. So you can't put that timeline on every building as if they were all the same.
Yeah, it is hard. But I think, personally, myself, I've seen this somehow bring about a lot of change, and I'm really happy about that, and I'm so glad you're down here and I got to visit with you today.
Well,
thank you so much for interviewing with us.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll see you again.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, well, look who I've run into. I've run into Dick Antoine, Talk of the Town, KZNG 1340 AM. How did I do?
You did perfect.
All right. Well, tell me what you're doing down here.
Well, I had the folks on the radio this morning.
Yes.
I wanted to come down and see what it was all about.
Yes.
I used to own a business downtown.
Okay.
And I've got some complaints that I talked about, how the businesses don't open after 5 o'clock.
Okay.
I have noticed that the 300 and 400 block now are opening till 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
Okay. Good.
But we need to get that. The Alco, downtown's too sterile.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look down the street right now, if you'll scan the road down there, there's nothing there. If that person's got stuff to sell, ought to be able to put 2 or 3 foot outside so you trip over it.
Oh,
and
I
say,
see.
oh,
Okay.
I didn't know you had that
Good
in your
suggestion.
store.
Okay, hadn't thought about that.
It's, the district downtown has made it a little bit sterile.
Yeah.
So they need to open it up a little bit more. That's what people want to do.
Yeah.
In fact, when I visited this morning, they talked about downtown of one town. One side was just like this, clear, nice, clean. Other side was businesses with things out on the sidewalk. Nobody walked on the side that was clear.
Oh, really?
Everybody walked on the other side where they felt like a community and home and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, but I wanted to see they've had over 200 folks.
Oh, wow.
They had 100 folks up there the first meeting they ever had. So they're getting lots of input. You know, what are we going to do for parking? What are we going to do?
Right.
So, you know, it's my downtown, just like it's your downtown.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? You've been in downtown. You've been in Hot Springs for how long now?
28 years.
Wow, wow. I equate you with the Christmas parade.
Oh.
Yeah, and of course your voice. But, you know, I think it's a great thing that we're having the community, the younger folks, everyone of all ages, come down here and give us suggestions.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's so many new things happening, like outdoor pools, these open air pools. There's all kinds of suggestions that I thought that I didn't even think about.
Well, what are they going to do at the Majestic Hotel?
Exactly.
You know, and what are they going to do about people that don't know what's going on? They don't. I'm surprised she's not talking on her phone. No,
it's okay.
But you know, there was talk of putting fountains and so forth up at that end. Now with the Majestic gone, we got to have a grocery store. Got to have a doctor. Got to have a pharmacist.
Right.
Where do you put them? Just Park Avenue? Do we put them over on Whittington? You know, where does this stuff go? What does the downtown need? So this is the first step.
Yeah.
I asked him, I said, every time we do something like this, it gets put on a shelf, and then 10 years later they take out and dust it off.
Yeah.
He said their whole purpose is they're a doer, not just a write it down.
Keep it going. Keep it going. Yeah, I agree. And you know, people are wanting to live downtown. And you're right, a grocery store, a doctor, a pharmacy. Those things used to exist downtown. They don't anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's what we need.
Uh-oh, it looks like Dick's being needed, so we're going to let him go. His phone's ringing.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Do 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 do